The Focke-Wulf FW-190 was one of Germany's most successful and versatile fighter aircraft of World War II. Designed by Kurt Tank, the FW-190 became a vital component of the Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, and served in multiple roles, including as a fighter, ground attack aircraft, and interceptor. The aircraft gained a reputation for its durability, firepower, and effectiveness at various altitudes, making it a significant challenge for the Allies in both the Eastern and Western fronts. With over 20,000 units produced, the FW-190 was a formidable counterpart to the Messerschmitt Bf-109 and one of the most feared aircraft in the skies. The development of the FW-190 began in the late 1930s as the Luftwaffe recognized the need for a more robust and versatile fighter than the Bf-109, which had been its mainstay. While the Bf-109 was a remarkable aircraft, it had some limitations, particularly in terms of armament and performance at higher altitudes. The FW-190 was conceived to address these issues and complement the Bf-109 in Luftwaffe operations. The FW-190's development was led by Kurt Tank, an experienced and innovative aircraft designer. The most significant aspect of the FW-190's design was its use of a BMW 801 radial engine, a stark departure from the liquid-cooled engines used in the Bf-109. This choice of a radial engine gave the aircraft several advantages, including increased reliability, durability, and better performance at lower altitudes. Additionally, the radial engine provided better protection against enemy fire compared to inline engines, which were more prone to damage. The FW-190's airframe was designed for strength and simplicity. It had a wide undercarriage, which reduced the risk of accidents during takeoff and landing, an issue that plagued the Bf-109 with its narrower gear. The cockpit offered excellent visibility, which enhanced pilot situational awareness in combat. The design also allowed for a variety of armament configurations, making the FW-190 highly adaptable to different missions. The aircraft first flew in 1939, and after extensive testing, it entered service with the Luftwaffe in 1941. It was initially introduced as a fighter, but its versatility soon became apparent, and it was developed into a range of variants suited for different roles, including ground attack and bombing. The FW-190 was produced in several major variants throughout the war, each adapted to specific needs and combat environments. The FW-190A series was the first to see extensive service and became the Luftwaffe's standard fighter for much of the war. The A series was known for its agility, firepower, and excellent low-to-medium altitude performance. These models were armed with two 13mm MG-131 machine guns and four 20mm MG-151 cannons, giving them superior firepower compared to many Allied fighters at the time. As the war progressed, the Luftwaffe faced increasing challenges from Allied bombers and higher-altitude fighters, prompting the development of new variants. The FW-190F and FW-190G were designed specifically for ground attack roles, with reinforced armor and the ability to carry bombs or rockets. The FW-190D, introduced later in the war, was equipped with a more powerful Junkers Jumo 213 liquid-cooled engine and featured an extended fuselage, improving its performance at higher altitudes and making it more capable of engaging Allied aircraft, such as the P-51 Mustang and Spitfire Memkak 1 The versatility of the FW-190 was one of its greatest strengths. Over its production run, more than 20,000 FW-190s were built, making it one of the most mass-produced aircraft of World War II. Its adaptability allowed it to serve in roles beyond that of a traditional fighter, including as a fighter bomber, night fighter, and even a torpedo bomber in some specialized cases. The FW-190 first saw combat in 1941 over the English Channel, where it immediately impressed German pilots and alarmed their British counterparts. In engagements with the Royal Air Force's Spitfire Memkak Foth, the FW-190 outclassed the British fighter in terms of speed, firepower, and maneuverability at lower altitudes. This early success led to the Luftwaffe replacing many of its Bf-109 units with the FW-190, particularly in the role of intercepting Allied bombers and supporting ground forces. The FW-190 played a critical role in the defense of the Reich, intercepting Allied bombers as they attempted to strike German cities and industrial targets. Its superior armament made it highly effective at downing B-17 flying fortresses and B-24 Liberators, which were often heavily escorted by Allied fighters. The introduction of the FW-190D, with its improved high-altitude performance, helped the Luftwaffe remain competitive even as Allied air superiority increased in the later stages of the war. On the Eastern Front, the FW-190 proved invaluable in the ground attack role, supporting German army operations against Soviet forces. The FW-190F and W-109G variants, equipped with bombs and rockets, wreaked havoc on Soviet armor and ground installations, becoming one of the Luftwaffe's most effective ground attack platforms. Its durability, reinforced armor, and ability to absorb damage made it well suited to the brutal conditions of the Eastern Front. The FW-190 also played a role in operations over North Africa, Italy, and later during the Allied invasion of Normandy in 1944. As the war drew to a close, the Luftwaffe increasingly relied on the FW-190 to defend the dwindling German territories from overwhelming Allied air power. The FW-190 was one of the most successful fighters of World War II, admired for its firepower, speed, and versatility. Pilots praised its robust construction and adaptability, which allowed it to perform well in multiple combat scenarios. In the fighter role, it was a match for most Allied aircraft, particularly in the early years of its service. Its ground attack variants were also highly effective, contributing to the aircraft's reputation as one of the most versatile in the Luftwaffe's arsenal. However, like any aircraft, the FW-190 had its limitations. Its performance at high altitudes, particularly in the early A-series models, was inferior to that of Allied aircraft like the P-47 Thunderbolt and later versions of the Spitfire. The introduction of the FW-190D alleviated some of these issues, but by then, the Luftwaffe was increasingly on the defensive, and the Allies had achieved air superiority over Europe. Additionally, the FW-190's radial engine, while reliable and powerful, made it more vulnerable to overheating and less efficient at higher altitudes than liquid-cooled engines. As the war progressed and the Luftwaffe faced a shortage of experienced pilots and resources, the effectiveness of the FW-190, like that of many German aircraft, began to diminish. The FW-190 became popular for several reasons. Its introduction in 1941 gave the Luftwaffe a critical edge in air combat, and its success against Allied fighters and bombers made it a favorite among German pilots. The aircraft's versatility and ability to perform in a wide range of roles added to its appeal, and it quickly became one of the most celebrated planes in the Luftwaffe. The FW-190's reputation extended beyond Germany. Allied pilots, particularly those flying Spitfires and Mustangs, respected and feared the FW-190 for its power and maneuverability. Even after the war, the FW-190's design influenced post-war aircraft development, and it remains a popular subject in aviation history and among enthusiasts. In conclusion, the Focke-Wulf FW-190 was a highly successful and versatile fighter that played a significant role in Germany's air strategy during World War II. Its combination of firepower, durability, and adaptability made it a formidable aircraft in multiple combat roles, from dogfighting to ground attack. Despite its limitations, particularly at higher altitudes, the FW-190 became a symbol of German air power and left a lasting legacy as one of the most iconic aircraft of the war.